Hey Justin, here's a quick little video explaining your question. So it's a really good question because why would you want to redo something that's working? But the basic answer to that is the pickups that you sent, even though they're get a ohm reading, they were pretty much on the way out for several reasons. First reason is the bobbin structure. They're coming apart at this point. A lot of these are coming apart. These are year 2 bobbins. This is another pickup, different one. And I could literally just take my finger here and push the top flange of this bobbin off. So they're coming unglued. That right there is that alone is reason to just redo them, because as soon as the bobbin starts popping off, the wire is going to get caught up under there and eventually it will fail. So your pickups, excuse me, we're in pretty bad shape in terms of the bobbin. So these are your bobbins now. I've cleaned them up and I've re-glued them with super glue. These are epoxied, and the epoxy is okay, but after many years it just kind of gets brittle and it doesn't hold anymore. So now these are super glued and they're really structurally sound, and they're going to be good to go for a long time. They're not going to fall apart. Okay, so structurally, that's one big reason. Second reason is, and yours were also in really bad shape in terms of the coil. The coil was really loose and floppy. You had wires, single wires, kind of starting to pop out. All it would take is, a little nick and those wires are gone and the coil is gone. But also too, just the loose floppiness of the coil, even though that sometimes can sound good, it's gonna lead to microphonics and things like that. So the coil is starting to get really loose. And then another reason is just the spec, the 70s spec on these. It was getting into that modern era where they were winding up the pickups really hot, which got away from the classic Sho-Buds sound, in my personal opinion. Some people like a really hot pickup, but like one of these was like almost 20K, and I think one was a little lower. So they were mismatched, but they just that spec is just not the desirable spec. And I've talked to a lot of people, everyone from like Jeff Surratt, Ricky Davis, and those guys are kind of like the authority on Sho-Buds. And they know Lloyd Green. Lloyd Green, his favorite pickup is 16.5. So he's kind of he's the guy. So you got to trust him and his ears. So I wind these, I rewind them to more of a vintage spec, which is between like 16.5 and 17.5K. So they're going to be put in that real sweet spot where it really opens up the sound of the guitar. It's less muddy, way more highs, but like really good highs, not like ice picky highs, really good warm highs. And it gives you, it opens up the ceiling of the tone so that you're not trapped down in the mud. It's always better to have highs and then be able to roll highs off. But if you're just in the mud, you can't, it's harder to add that treble. So they really sing in that spec. And then the other reason, obviously, is the magnets. I recharge the magnets on the magnet charger. So I'm going to start winding these up today, and they'll be done here real soon. So hopefully that answers your questions.